Well, in stark contrast from yesterday's conditions, we are back in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Round 2 will resume here for qualifying 2 and day 2 of this illustrious championship. And off the back of an exciting race yesterday, Rafał Kamara coming out your race winner. The temperatures, though, looking far better than yesterday morning. We have witnessed certainly some inroads in that fact. Of course, track temperature currently sitting at 18.4 degrees, with air temperature now up to 15.3. And I must say, looking above, in what is a rarity, I think, around Spa-Francorchamps, the dark clouds that we were experiencing yesterday have sort of somewhat dissipated, and we've now got largely a blue sky. Of course, I can't necessarily say that that's going to be the same throughout the entirety of the whole circuit, but still, nonetheless, we're going to be heading out ready for qualifying 2. Now, this is roles reversed. Obviously, Group A and Group B, they went out yesterday. Group A going out first. This time around, Group B goes out first here, just to allow a fair qualifying across the weekend for all drivers that are taking part. Making up that Group B is, of course, Evan Gilter, Brando Bador, James Wharton, who unfortunately crashed out yesterday in qualifying, Pedro Clero, Ugo Gachukwu, as well as Roman Belinsky, Noah Stromstead, Matteo De Paolo, Giovanni Maschio, who had that engine issue yesterday. And then, of course, we had Zachary David, Roman Andriolo, Nanavud Birambakti, and Dorian Pin, who unfortunately will not be partaking in racing action today due to suffering pain from flu-like symptoms, so will not be able to take part. Alex Sauer, Lena Bula, and Edgar Pierre. So that is our Group B coming into the weekend. Group B now heading out onto the track to usher in their first laps. And I must say, off the back of what was certainly a very busy race yesterday, we witnessed, like I said, Rafał Kamara taking the victory for Prema. A position that Prema cars are generally so used to around Spa. They've been so successful in the past, but Kamara's performance in those closing laps and throughout the race itself, to be honest, was absolutely scintillating and well worthy of a race win. And obviously commiserations to Noah Stromstead, because after the race there was post-race penalties. Of course, finishing P2, challenging Kamara right to the bitter end of the race, where he sent it up the inside coming through bus stop. It was a spirited performance by the Dane. However, he was issued with a penalty and therefore dropped down to P4, promoting Roman Belinsky to P2 at the end of the race, with Zachary David finishing in P3 for our race GP. And I must say, across the board, from Ps1 all the way down to Ps4, deserved drivers that no doubt are going to be looking for yet further steps onto the podium. But a wonderful race indeed. And I'm looking forward to qualifying as well, given the fact that we now have sunny conditions. Hopefully it'll be a better reflection in terms of the pace. When we look back at yesterday's qualifying, the times were utterly outrageous. Enzo Perja going fastest in Group A, achieving P1 with a time of a 2:29.587. That was blasted apart as soon as Group B went out afterwards yesterday, with Roman Belinsky obtaining his first pole position in Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine with a 2:22.533. An almighty 7 seconds difference between the two, and that just goes to show how the track can change so quickly, as we just witnessed there. Alex Sauer just getting a little twisty heading through Corbeil Porfrère out of Campus and Stavolo. A lot of activity out on track now, drivers working hard to get the temperature up in the tyres. A long lap around Spa, so as opposed to perhaps needing a couple of laps in order to get those tyres up to where they need them to be, just the one lap at Spa can give you that window. Nandavid Birambakti returning as well. We alluded to his phenomenal family heritage in motorsport. Obviously, PT Birambakti competing in GT3 racing as well. And we all know that obviously Nandavid will be looking to put his best foot forward to represent the Birambakti name here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. But heading down through towards turn 1, there's Roman Andriolo, the prestigious, one of the first drivers to obtain the prestigious Resilience Award that has just been brought out this campaign. And we'll no doubt be looking to try and obtain it again, because we do have a championship in the Resilience Award in terms of most overtakes obtained through the course of a race. And the driver that obtains the most points come the end of the season will receive the Pirelli tyre. Whoa, very, very close. And I must say, Ugo Gachukwu was very nearly caught out in that exchange. Can count himself somewhat lucky, just tying up slightly with Alex, I believe that was Alex Sauer, who was warming up the tyres. Obviously just did not quite have the visuals on Ugo Ugachukwu. It is a bright orange car. Let's take a look at that again. Ugo Ugachukwu obviously not content with remaining in behind Alex Sauer, just keen to get in front of him, very close to contact, heading up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. And again, we've got a situation here which sees drivers fighting over track position right now. But obviously the names to watch out for, of course, Roman Belinsky taking pole yesterday. It's going to be a tougher task for anyone in Group B to obtain pole this time around. Of course, the track will improve as the morning rumbles on. It gets quite cold in the mornings, and then obviously after the cars venture out on track, warming up the tyres, eventually you see those optimal laps come through into fruition. But there's your standings on the top left. Great to see Giovanni Maschio back. Was unfortunate in yesterday's race to come to a grinding halt under the formation lap. It meant we had to do another formation lap to carry on through and eventually get the start underway. But he's back again, and RPM, whilst obviously missing out on a podium for Noah Stromstead due to the infraction, the post-race penalty, dropping him from P2 to P4. We spoke to Keith Donegan, as I said, coming into the weekend on Friday, and knows that he's got drivers that are firmly capable of achieving great things. Edgar Pierre, unfortunately, getting caught in the gravel yesterday as well, but with Noah Stromstead, he's got a talent at his disposal who was so good towards the tail end of last season. A fantastic young rookie driver. It was certainly proven that he deserves to be here. Let's wait and see what he can do this time. The driver's now starting to filter out into positions, hoping now to find that clear air to maximise that delta. Already we are seeing the laps improving, but it won't be until this next lap, you'd fathom, that we start seeing the real fast laps come through, many of them still fighting over that clean air. And you've got to remember, whilst obviously they want to spend some time to find it, there is only 9 minutes left in the session, and that 9 minutes goes away very quickly when you consider that generally a lap around here is around 2.5 minutes long. So, you know, at the drop of a hat, you might only get 3 fast laps at best here at this stage. So you need to take full advantage. Pedro Clero heading up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Van Amersfoort, many discussing, especially after Hockenheim, that these could be the dark horses for a potential team's title. Clero would love to etch his name onto the top step of the podium at least once this season, and to tell you what, you would never count them out. Ivan Dominguez impressive on his first run, and as you can see, Clero clearly pushing, already finding that 4.9 in the first sector, just under that 4.9 as he ushers his way through Malmedy, heading down in towards Rivage. And these drivers can take the tighter lines this time. You could see yesterday during qualifying, they were looking for that drier line due to the water that was out on track. We were in drying conditions yesterday morning because we had rain leading through to the early hours, but the rain had ceased coming into the start of the on-track action, and the drivers are still forced to try and certainly navigate their way through the spray and at the same time find those lines out on circuit. But Clero having no problems at all using the traditional racing line that many of the drivers will adopt. And as you can see, taking a tighter line coming through the Le Fanier chicane. Generally yesterday we saw them heading through the middle, and now also taking more of the curves as well. This is certainly great to see. Clero now heading through towards Campus and Stavelo. Corbeil Paul Frere coming up next as well. And again, maximising the line here this time around. I'm expecting the times to be faster than certainly what we saw yesterday, as he now breezes through. Blanchimont up next. It's a nice clear run heading through that section. Now I can tell you that already the purple sectors are coming through. We do have Giovanni Maschio, who's incidentally gone fastest in the first sector. Second sector, Zachary David. He has gone fastest in the second sector. Was brilliant in the race yesterday and looked impressive in qualifying. Many could argue he was a little bit unfortunate. Clero coming up towards the line to register his first fast lap. Onto the board, a 2:17.213. So yes, absolutely blasting apart the best lap of Roman Belinsky's 2:22.5 that we saw take pole yesterday as well. We got James Wharton, who's gone fastest. Remember, he crashed out yesterday, but he is back this time around and has gone fastest of anybody. Remember, he was fastest in collective test 2 and has now etched his name to the top here in this session so far. A purple third sector for Wharton, who has been competing in the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship. We caught up with him with regards to that as well. And looking to use that as a way to build upon what has already been quite a promising start to his single-seater racing career. And we'll look to further those inroads as well here this time around in Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Noah Stromstead, though, has just gone purple in the first sector with a 39.148. His father, Morten, racing in GT3s as well through the course of this year. Has also competed in Danish F4 as well, so racing blood in the Stromstead family, that's for sure. Ugo Gachukwu currently making it as well into P2 on his previous lap. Saw him get very close to Alex Sauer earlier on. James Wharton once again going faster this time around too. 41 thousandths gained this time around. He's actually got the bright papaya in front of him as well. Of course, Ugo Gachukwu, part of the McLaren Driver Academy. And, a great pairing at Prema. They've delivered many great drivers in the past. We've alluded obviously to previous champions, Dino Beganovic. What about Andrea Kimi Antonelli as well? Well, former race winners, I should say, Dino Beganovic and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Rafael Camara winning it last season, and of course this season. Camara becoming the first driver in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine to win at Spa back-to-back, and twice as a whole as well. Prema have also got the record between 2022 to 2023, having 3 consecutive pole positions in both in race 1 and race 2 back in 2022 with Beganovic and Paul Aaron. Rafael Camara taking pole last year in the opening race as well. More cars crossing the line as we see Stromstead now go fastest of anybody. The Dane setting a 2:15.592, still yet further improvements out there on track right now. We've got personal improvements from Alex Sauer and Lena Bühler as well, finding some added time too. Alex Sauer jumping ahead of Roman Andriolo. But Andriolo taking back that P13 as well away from Sauer. But at the top, it's currently Stromstead leading a double Prema act in second and third. Evan Gilter down in fourth as well, the French F4 champion. Race winner back at Hockenheim in race 2 as well. Roman Belinsky down in fifth. As the cars come through now, all of them now on cooler runs here this time around. No improvements in the first sector throughout the grid order now. So it's advantage to Noah Stromstead. 3 minutes and 25 to go. James Wharton will be absolutely thrilled. At least he's responded. He's back on track. He's qualifying. He's got a time on the board. The car took quite an impact coming through Eau Rouge and Radion yesterday, but the team have done a fabulous job to get the car back up and running. Can tell you that we do have a time deletion for Nandavud Birambakti for track limits back at turn 4. Now that's the run coming out of Eau Rouge and Radion up towards Kemmel. So that is why Nandavud Birambakti has had his time taken away from him. But that is our first lap deletion here so far this session, so a great effort from all those drivers concerned across the grid. Track temperature still remaining around 18. It's 18.9 degrees now, but the air temperature has gone up slightly. We're now into the 16s on that front, so we are seeing some increases, some inroads in places. Let's see what the drivers can do to maximize their opportunities with that. On top, though, is Noah Stromstead, and he will of course be on top in his group. Remember, the fastest driver, if there's a faster time in Group A, which we usually would expect given the fact that track does generate as we go deeper into the session, the fastest driver in either group will be on pole, and the rest of their group will be filtered behind them in order of quickest on that same column of the grid. As we now see them come through into bus stop chicane now, getting ready for yet one final run. This is the last chance saloon for all these drivers out there now. 1 minute and 40 to go. And there's James Wharton looking to try and take the top time away from Noah Stromstead. Stromstead's done a great job this weekend, was bitterly disappointed after missing out on a podium yesterday. Could have very nearly taken a race win as well. He took Rafael Camara all the way to the bitter end. But James Wharton in the sister Prema looking to take that time away as well. Let's see what the first sectors have to offer. These improvements are going to be intriguing. Ugo Ugachukwu as well in third fastest, currently ahead of his teammates. And that's not a bad car for James Wharton to follow either, not just because it's obviously his teammate, but he's got clear air in front of him as well. A little messy coming through Malmedy, but it won't worry him too much. Noah Stromstead has gone purple in the first sector. Giovanni Maschio, in fact, has set a 39.088 in that first sector, so has recorded a purple first here already in this lap. And again, James Wharton just taking a tribute to the gravel, really pushing out there right now. Just looking at Noah Stromsted's first sector, is a 39.094. Not quite to the same level as what Giovanni Maschio's time is. The gap between them currently sitting at 6 thousandths of a second in the first sector in favour of Giovanni Maschio. So the RPM team back again as we now witness them head through the Lafanier chicane. Got the middle sector to come, and as they make their way through it, it is still Stromstead out on top. Wharton's just taken the fastest second sector so far. He's ripped it away from his teammate Ugo Ugachukwu. Checkered flag has come out, signalling that these will be the final runs. Not a great second sector for Giovanni Maschio. It is an improvement, but it's nowhere near as good as where James Wharton is right now. So James Wharton considerably quicker, coming through the very technical middle sector. That is where you need to maximise any effort. It's what you do in the corners. There is Wharton right now, looking to take the top time away from Noah Stromstead as he now bursts his way up through towards the line. Ugo Ugachukwu goes fastest. James Wharton, his teammate, takes that away from him as well. Stromstead still to come across the line. Where's he going to end up here? Still remains third for now, has taken the checkered flag. Stromstead can't retake that P1 spot, and Roman Belinsky in fourth place. Evan Gilter in fifth. Further down, of course, Pedro Clero only enough for 10th quickest. Andriolo, the last car to come across the line, and will remain in 14th. But James Wharton, after the disappointment of yesterday in qualifying, crashing out, returns to the Spa circuit, and you can see how delighted he is with that lap. Regardless of what happens, he will be starting on the front row of the grid heading into the race this afternoon. James Wharton, the Aussie, fastest here at Belgium. Ugo Ugachukwu, his Prema teammate, in second. Noah Stromstead in third. Roman Belinsky in fourth. Evan Gilter in fifth. Brando Bador in sixth. Zachary David in seventh. Matteo De Palo in eighth place. Edgar Pierre in ninth. Pedro Clero 10th. Nandavid Biram Bakhti in 11th. And Alex Sauer at 12th. Giovanni Maschio in 13th. Roman Andriolo in 14th, Lena Bula starting in 5th, well, towards the back of the grid. 15th place obtained by Lena Bula. But a truly massive effort from James Wharton. Like I said, disappointment yesterday. He was fastest, though, in collective test 2. Of course, collective test 1 was indeed cancelled due to the adverse conditions that we had in the morning on safety grounds. It could not go ahead, but still, Prema running wild in both the pre-collective test with Rafael Camara in the Prema, who went on to get victory yesterday after starting in P6. I mean, just getting the comments, indeed, from Rafael Camara after yesterday's race. He came out and said, what a race. Starting from 6th this championship, where overtaking is tough. But he made it look so easy, didn't he? Unfortunately, as he said, he could not put together a good lap in the qualifying session, but he always felt he had the right speed. That is what he told us in his post-race interview yesterday. And credit to Roman Belinsky as well, managing to take P4 towards the tail end of that one. A great lap, certainly on his part to get through. But we've now got the next group to head out onto the circuit. Group A will be making their way onto the track very shortly, folks. And it should be a fantastic one as well. Obviously, a time to beat on the board. But truly phenomenal. Plenty of lap deletions in the last runs coming through towards the end of that last Group B fast run. But nonetheless, James Wharton doing enough, and you can see already fresh tyres now on board for Nicolas Lacorte. Back again for Trident. Got a chance to speak to him, as you can see. A lot of the drivers will no doubt be donning these fresher compounds. Ruiki Liu being one of them as well, in front of his Trident counterpart. And Nicola Lacorte very excited at the prospects of racing for Prema this time around, racing for Trident this time around. Of course, they've had such a good time at developing young talents, and have been brilliant in F2 and F3, and very much in Formula Regional alike, with Roman Belinsky being with them for so long. As I said yesterday, one of the most experienced talents we have on this grid. And, we'll use all his experience as well. Nicola Lacorte mentioning in Paddock Live on Friday about how brilliant it has been to work with Roman Belinsky, and how much he has learned in terms of driving this particular car. Looking to test his mettle out here on track against some of these great drivers. Let's take you through the groups for this session, because we have some great competitors here this time too. In Group A, Rafael Camara will be lining up. Ivan Dominguez as well, who was impressive back at Hockenheimring. Tuka Tappinen, who was disappointing yesterday. No doubt he'll be looking for a little more this time. Enzo Delini, the Red Bull Junior, out there too. Teofil Nile is also taking part in this for Santalok Racing. Santalok, incidentally, having a good day yesterday, with points on offer for them inside the top 10. Alessandro Giusti, who was in battle with Enzo Peugeot, the two French F4 graduates coming through into the championship. Giusti, of course, 1 year senior in French F4 to that of Enzo Peugeot, but Giusti back again, and a former winner here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, put together a blistering tail end of the season in his rookie year. Nicola Lacorte back, as I said, we interviewed him in Paddock Live. Nikhil Bora, who made the switch to MP Motorsport from Trident. Valerio Rinagella, the student for Giancarlo Fisichella, racing here this weekend. He's also part of Group A. Enzo Peugeot, as we alluded to, taking part in this session. Ruiki Liu, Kanato Lay, as well as Jesse Carrasquedo, Marta Garcia, the F1 Academy champion from last season, Yaroslav Vesalaho, and Costa Taparis taking part here in this session. So we're going to be in for a real treat, folks, at home. The time to beat, 2:15.162, set by James Wharton. Let's see who can achieve that. It certainly will be tight, it will be tough, but the benefits that this group have is that the track will be in a better position for setting faster runs, and this is where the pole time will be decided. Prema, after missing out on pole position yesterday, will be looking to either James Wharton or potentially Rafael Camara to take it for them this time around, as the cars now rush up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Timer now 11 minutes and 15 to take us through to the end of the session. You can see they're just still viciously warming up those tyres. We've got a side-by-side moment coming through bus stop, getting just a little tight over the curbs. Grand evasive action there. Of course, a lot of these drivers worked to try and improve reaction times. I did walk around the paddock and saw Rafael Camara putting together one of his practice routines with the tennis balls, things of that nature. And these are the types of things that drivers do in order to aid their approach behind the wheel. Reactions are everything when it comes to racing, and it's not just pace in the car, it's what you do in terms of instinct as well, and these drivers carry it in an abundance as well. But Tuka Tappinen will be looking to come back strong as well. Ivan Dominguez fastest in the first sector so far with a 41.273. It was still very early days here in this Group B, should I say in this Group A lineup, as we now see them make their way through the Lafanier chicane. Marta Garcia from Iron Dames. Great to have Iron Dames with us this season as well, with two drivers that have been mightily successful in the F1 Academy Championship. It's a shame that we don't have Dorian Pin with us here for the second race. Obviously suffering from flu-like symptoms, and the pain just too much to race today, but we wish her well, and hopefully she comes back stronger for the next one. Marta Garcia, I'm sure, will be giving it her all in this session alike. She is, of course, an F1 Academy champion back last year. Dorian Pin shot to stardom off the back of a successful run at Saudi Arabia. As you can now see, once again, the drivers really fighting for those positions. Nikhil Bora making it around the outside in the MP Motorsport. orange car as they head down in towards turn 1. And already the timing tower being updated as not necessarily the optimal laps that we will expect to see at the very top of the table being issued. Nikhil Bora setting a 2:37.567, which is far apart from where we saw James Wharton in the previous group with a 2:15.162. But this will be the lap where it all happens as they now cascade upwards. Ascend upwards, heading through towards Eau Rouge and Radion, and getting a nice useful tow here is Nikhil Bora. That'll come in very handy indeed off the back of Nico Lecorte as they now rush up the Kemmel Straight, leading up through towards Les Combes. They're going to run wheel to wheel, and Lecorte is going to make this as difficult as he can, and he certainly did. Nikhil Bora having to back out of it. That negates the slipstream and straight line speed that was at Nikhil Bora's disposal. Looking at the first sector, I can tell you that Rafael Camara fastest out of the blocks. But straight away, Enzo Peugeot, who rivaled him yesterday, they would have come together. Peugeot, remember, starting on the front row, but would drop down the order after coming through at Les Combes later on the opening lap and losing place after place as a result after a venture into the gravel trap. But will look to come back fighting here, and certainly has done. His one-lap pace has been sensational here this weekend, certainly in quali trim. A 39.189 in Sector 1 for Enzo Peugeot, which surpasses Rafael Camara's 39.314 as they now come through the Lafanier chicane. Ruiki Lu being closely pursued here by the 33 of Jesse Carrasquedo as they rush out of Campus and Stavelo, heading through towards Corbeil Paul Frere. The Trident team with some new faces. Obviously alluded to Nikhil Bora transferring away to MP Motorsport, no longer part of the Trident outfit. Here comes Tuka Tapinen. Enzo Delini looking very quick in that middle sector as well. Fastest second sector split time. Nikhil Bora not far away. Neither is Tuka Tapinen. He is right in the mixer here. Tapinen will surely take the fastest lap so far, but it will be beaten should Enzo Delini's lap carry through. It certainly does. Fastest for Enzo Delini. Then in second, Tuka Tapinen, Nico Lecorte. Jesse Carrasquedo goes third fastest. Kanato Lay now up to third fastest ahead. Now Rafael Camara goes fastest after a mighty third sector that saw him go near enough 2.5 tenths ahead of Théophile Nile, who now goes into second place. So a great display from the Sansalok driver. They've come here with some very smart rookie drivers here this season. Of course, Théophile Nile, not necessarily a rookie, not part of the rookie contingent, but in his first official season here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, really taking to it well, though he is 6 tenths off Camara up at the front. Already now the purple sector's coming through, and Camara's purple again. He's purple in the first sector, has found just over 4.5 tenths of a second. As we now see the cars battling further back, and you can just see the 33 just backing out of it. Jesse Carrasquedo not finding that optimal line, but Camara certainly is. He has got a little bit of traffic. We'll be hoping he's got the pace to march past. Certainly launches past Jesse Carrasquedo, coming through towards the Jackie X bend this time around. So the Brazilian, who showed all his brilliance and capabilities yesterday when charging from P6 on the grid to take eventual victory, knocking down some pretty tasty opponents, keeping Noah Stromstead at bay, who was so brilliant at the tail end of last season on his maiden visit, his debut season in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And, it takes a lot to break that Dane down, and Camara kept him at bay coming through the final sector as well. But the Brazilian now prosaically rising, coming through Campus and Stavelo, through towards Corbeil Paul Frere. The Prema team watching on expectantly. He's just gone faster again in the second sector. Purple on display. Tuka Tapinen, though, slightly faster than Camara, has ushered in a 60.285 coming through the second sector. And here comes Tuka Tapinen right now. Makes his way up towards the line, will topple Camara down. Enzo Delini comes across the line, goes second fastest, but Camara is the one we want to watch. He's currently third in the timing screen right now with 4 minutes and 40 still to go in the session. The Brazilian will surely look to launch a charge upwards. He will, and goes fastest of anybody, nearly 7 tenths of a second faster than Tuka Tapinen. Théophile Nile drops down to 5th. Ivan Dominguez up to 4th fastest. Tell you what, And that does decide the fact that James Wharton will not be on pole as well. Kamara's time already faster than Wharton's from the previous group. So whatever happens, the pole sitter will be decided in this Group A session. Let's take a look at the replay. This is Kamara coming through the bus stop chicane. Just look at the wheel spin coming off the rear tyres as he looks to find the grip heading out of the final two corners. And didn't he just find it as well? A little bit of jostling for position here as well. And by the looks of it, Costa Taparis a little frustrated here. Quite rightly so. He's currently at the tail end of the qualifying order with a 2:17.368 and just wants to get going. You can just see him brushing past the collective of cars that are trickling down through towards Rivage. But a 7/10 of a second gap between Rafael Kamara and Tuka Tappinen. Alessandro Giusti third fastest as well. Enzo Dellini, impressive. As part of the rookie contingent here this season, he's ahead. He's the fastest rookie in this group. And will be the fastest rookie in qualifying as a whole, should he stay there come the end of the session. But just look at this. Look at the gaggle of cars heading down through towards Pouhon. There's a lot of trust there between these drivers, but they're all very intelligent. And when it comes down to racecraft, no better to learn than at this very young age. They're like sponges when it comes to learning new methods of racing, and certainly with the likes of Antonio Liuzzi, who we saw in the paddock this weekend as well, imparting his knowledge and wisdom to some of the young drivers in this field. And we mentioned Rinicello, who's currently 12th fastest, working with Giancarlo Fisichella. As we now see the drivers pirouette out of the Campus and Stavolo sections through Corbeil-Port Frere. 2 minutes and 15 still to go. Kamara is still your fastest driver. 7/10 clear of Tuka Tappinen in second place. Alessandro Giusti in third. The French F4 champion from 2022 ahead of Enzo Dellini. The Red Bull Junior, fellow Frenchman of Alessandro Giusti, ahead of Ivan Dominguez as part of the Van Amersfoort contingent that are looking to do so well this season. Dominguez performing brilliantly back at Hockenheimring. We'll be hoping that once again he can taste glory as they now begin what will surely be the final lap of qualifying, the final fast run. It's a shootout for the top spot. Kamara does have the advantage here at this stage, but I'm expecting still for there to be some inroads for many of the drivers out there here right now. Rafael Kamara making it 3 podiums in 3 races after yesterday's victory. And it's 2 wins out of 3 as well through the course of the campaign. There he is now, flying it through Rouge and Radion once again. Further brilliance to be unlocked here from the Brazilian. He is 7/10 clear of Tappinen, who surely needs to tap into something in order to try and unsettle Rafael Kamara. As they now head up the hill this time around, you can just see there side by side, Théophile Nile with Enzo Dellini hot on his heels. Kamara coming through Les Combes now as well, as they rush through towards Malmedy and then down the hill towards Rivage. Personal improvements from Tuka Tappinen in the first sector. He registers a 39.346. Still not enough to unsettle Kamara up at the front. Ivan Dominguez also showing personal improvements, as is Théophile Nile. Further down, Yaroslav Vasalaho down in 14th place, also finding a 39.391 in that first sector. So there is still improvements on the table. The question is, though, can anyone hit purple in any of the sectors? Rafael Kamara not improving in the first sector. Doesn't need to worry too much, though, because this lap of a 2:14.254 is the best lap that we've seen across the weekend here in this championship. So the notch very much in Kamara's lapel right now, unless someone could certainly build out and find the goods this time. The checkered flag is out. Kamara's got traffic out in front. Furthermore, personal improvements for Théophile Nile. Coming out of Sector 2 is 60.839. Everyone across the grid not improving, bar Valerio Rinicello, who finds improvements coming through Sector 2, as does Jesse Carrasquedo and Costa Taparis, as we now see them come down through towards bus stop. Kamara still pushing regardless. took a tap and digging deep, 60.334. Despite not improving into the second sector, he's improving on this lap. Kamara, not content with the run so far, will bail into the pits, knows he's not improving, no sense in pushing the car at this point. Alessandro Giusti improves in the final sector as they cross the line now. Tappanen still remains second fastest. Can he improve further? He finds a little bit of time, but no way near enough to topple Rafael Kamara. Giusti third fastest, Delaney in fourth. Dominguez currently sat in fifth as well as they all cross the line. Dominguez goes fifth fastest, and Teofil Nile sixth quickest. Enzo Peugeot only enough for seventh. Canato Lay down in eighth place with Rinicella down in ninth. Marta Garcia qualifying a very decent P10 as well from the F1 Academy champion of 2023. But it's Rafael Kamara who will be on pole position. Provisional pole position coming into the race later on this afternoon. Let's take you through those results. Rafael Kamara fastest here in Group A, qualifying 2. Tuka Tappanen in second. Alessandro Giusti in third, with Enzo Delaney in fourth. Ivan Dominguez in fifth. Teofil Nile in sixth. Enzo Peugeot in seventh. Canato Lay, Valerio Rinicella, and then Marta Garcia in 10th. Ruiki Lu in 11th spot, with Nicola Lacorte in 12th. Nikhil Bora in 13th. Yaroslav Vasalaho in 14th. with Jesse Carrasquedo, the Mexican, finishing down in 15th. Costa de Pares finishing in 16th place. Well, a fantastic lap from Rafael Kamara, and of course we will be witnessing how he gets on later on this afternoon. Join us at 3:10.